What's going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of Raising Power Book 3 Raising Kanan Season 1, Episode 5, Choose Your Battles, okay? So we're going to get into it. If y'all hear something in the background, it's my washing machine. Girl, I had to wash some clothes, so that's why I'm down here too, plus the neighbors. But hey, either way, we're getting this done. But anyway, so we start off with Rock. You know, she's sitting down there at the table and smoking her little cigarette. We see Kanan. Oh, excuse me. I had a little cold in my throat. She had, Kanan upstairs. You know, he trying to get fly. He got his new, he got a little jersey on, trying to figure out which shoes. Okay, I be like, yeah, that's how it be. All right, you want to match. You want to look good, And he's on his way to Saturday school, okay? Because remember, Rock got him into these classes that meet 2 times in the evening a week and then every other Saturday. So the classes are being hosted, or I should say professored by Symphony. But at the same time, he comes downstairs, Rock is down there, and trying to see what's going on with him. Just trying to see basically, was you gonna tell me? Was you gonna tell me about this whole situation, okay? Because either you got shot or somebody else did. And apparently you obviously didn't because you down here, you know what I'm saying? And she called him out on it. She's trying to protect her son, okay? And, you're at the stash house and he not giving up Marvin or whatever. He lies and said basically, he was going over there to get some money that Scrap owed him and he got caught up in the melee. And, Rock already know that he lying or whatever. So meanwhile, speaking of the stash house, you got Malcolm going over there and with his partner and trying to see what's going on and basically determined that it was an old stash house. And he realized that with the reinforced door that really wasn't there before that they had put in. And the partner, she notices where Kanan threw up at, okay? Because remember when Marvin shot old boy and he fell on him, Kanan threw up because he couldn't take it. And I was sitting here like, oh, no, don't take the DNA evidence so it can point to Kanan, even if I don't know if he got anything in the system or whatever. But then again, I don't know if they did that back then. I mean, it is 1991, so I don't know. But, at this point, when Malcolm, figured out that it was a stash house or something like that, it wasn't really nothing there that they can do because there's nobody, there's no drugs or anything in the place. So basically, let's just head on out, okay? So they came there just to look and to do nothing. Meanwhile, Raquel got Marvin and Lulu sitting at the table. They eating breakfast or whatever. And baby, I don't care what nobody say. If it would not have been in the first episode when they told us that, Marvin was the older brother and Raquel basically is the middle child. And you know what? I don't know if Raquel got that middle child syndrome because sometimes, the middle child, they feel a little left out. Correct me if I'm wrong. They feel a little left out. They feel like they gotta, do whatever it is they got to do to get heard or get seen, because either the attention is on the older child because you're older, you're the firstborn, and then the younger child because you're the baby. So you get that type of attention, and then the middle child is just there. But with Raquel, it's like, did mama had to fight for this power that she had? Because obviously she did. And plus, she's a woman too. Baby, if you had not told me in the first episode that Marvin was the oldest one, I wouldn't have known. Because he acts like a child, okay? And Raquel acts like that bitch, Raquel act like the older one. Girl, I don't know why I keep fidgeting, and I'm sober. Ooh, because I went back. Pause. I went back and I looked at that Love and Marriage Love and Marriage Huntsville video this morning. I was out of it. But anyway, I said that was some strong shit that I had. And I only had it was some gummies. I had 2 of them. Girl. And that shit put me on my ass because as soon as I finished that shit, I was knocked out. Okay? But anyway, basically, Raquel is running the shit. Okay? And she pissed off at Marvin because Marvin up here lying about what really happened at the stash house. And she just said, cut the bullshit. You left some stuff out. You left out the fact that my son was there. And of course, Lou looking like, that's some, you fucked up. You messing up, okay? And, basically trying to tell them this is what we got to do. We got to find a new place, and the stash house, and they got a meeting, and she meeting with the people that's at the project. You know what I'm saying? And so she's trying to tell him we got to handle stuff, okay? And he was like, we need to find a rat who rat out the stash house. I said, oh, no, we not finna do Davina like that, okay? And, she was like, I don't care about that at this point. What we need to get to is Unique's people, because we know it was Unique that did it, okay? That's what we need to worry about, all right? And she called his ass out about being just, doing the fucking most and not enough, okay? That's what it is. Next thing Raquel and not Raquel, but Marvin and Lulu, they get outside and they going back and forth. You know how siblings do. They gonna call each other out. It was like, I'm not finna go to jail behind you or whatever. That's why you was in jail the first time, because you was up here. You can't keep secrets, because Marvin is trying to understand why is it Raquel doing what she doing, and he just don't need to know that right now, because the way Raquel is moving, he gonna wind up messing stuff up for their family, okay? Because he just sloppy with his shit, And that's what Lou was telling him, and he was like, I'm not about to go to jail behind your ass, okay? If she said don't put Kanan on, don't put him on. He's supposed to be on ice, all right? So, that was that. And next thing he was like, yeah, I see what you trying to do. You trying to be Quincy Jones up in this bitch. Why you up in there and your girl gonna be getting fucked by the little Puerto Rican dude talking about Quincy, And then he was like, oh, we could talk about your baby mama doing the whole gang or some shit like that. This person, that person. Next thing they start fighting. I said, niggas. The cops had to roll past it, telling to break it up. But that's all that it was. Siblings do that shit, especially the boys. They can't help but fight for some reason. Meanwhile, Kanan, he at Symphony's class on architecture, and he was he had an assignment to do, and Symphony came over there and was commending him on how much attention he was putting to the details, and you never miss anything. But then he started working down on Kanan, meaning like getting into him, wearing him down. Kanan do like him, and he was like, he even thought that the class was gonna be boring, but he actually cool with the class. And Symphony started giving him another lesson about the bridges, and how the bridges were meant to keep black people away, or I should say white people out of the hood. That's what I will say about all of these. Courtney Kemp and whoever writes this, they will find a way to put a history lesson in each of these shows. Go back from the Power, go to Power Book 2 with Ghost and Tyreek in the school, and how they always put them different books into it, you know what I'm saying, the literature that was into it, and now we're talking about the architecture. I'm about to say acupuncture. And it's acupuncture. Don't do me. The architecture and how it plays a part in the African American experience in New York and New Jersey, in that whole situation up there, So that was cool. And, Kanan was coming around to him. He was like, you like my mom? And he was like, yeah, I really do. And he was like, cool. I was like, see, I like that. I really do. Symphony ain't trying to hurt nobody. So, Lou, Marvin keep on thinking that Lou is like, Raquel's little lap dog. And truth be told, Marvin, you her lap dog too, because you jump when she say jump as well. Okay, so that's what it is. That's really why they was out there fighting and stuff. But meanwhile, we get Malcolm. Malcolm, the detective, he go to the doctor, and y'all remember when he found out that he had cancer, and now he finds out that, the relative that they did have in mind to try to see if the bone marrow match did not match. So therefore, he has to go on a list or whatever for the bone marrow. And, if they don't find a match in time, there's some alternative versions of stuff, that, treatment that he can do. And of course, he's being very pessimistic about it. And, it's 1991. So of course he's going to have that, are you serious type of mind frame. Okay. But meanwhile, you get the kids at the little store that the new stash house is at, okay? And you get Famous over there looking at a Playboy magazine and talking about the girls, and when he get famous, this is what type of girl he gonna be with. But see, this type of girl is a three, and my girl's gonna be better than that. And then Jukebox offering her little input like, you ain't gonna do nothing. You don't know what a woman like or whatever, because I do, because I am a woman. I know how to make them feel. I know what makes them feel good. I know how to do this and do that. Okay, fine. Next thing you know, she was like, and I'm the only one that actually got some between all of us. And of course, here comes Famous getting pissed off, thinking that it was a guy that did it. He don't know her secret about her being gay. And what really disgusts me, but it's kids at this point, I guess that's how they think. I don't know. He just automatically thought that he was supposed to be the first to hit with I was about to say rocks. Cause a picture just popped up on my phone in our timeline. Oh no, not Roxanne, but Juke. Okay, and I was just really disgusted by that. That turned me off from him. Like, first of all, Famous, I don't like him because he just, his character is too much. Like, he trying too hard to be down and all this stuff. But basically, she was like, whatever. But, Jukebox is talking about, they need to find out who hit the stash house. And she kind of implied that it was Davina. And, of course, here come Famous being all loud or whatever. Davina's a rat and all this stuff. That's what we trying to say. That's what we trying to say. And, of course, Kanan get upset. He leaves. And, Jukebox tried to talk to him. And that didn't really go the way that they wanted it to go, because he got so defensive and was like, you don't know my family. She said, I know your family the same family as me, and we got secrets. And he was like, and I know your secret too. And if you don't want nobody to know that shit, you better shut the hell up. I'm sitting here like, wow, so this what you gonna do? This what you gonna do? You gonna throw her secret up in her face just because you don't want the truth, or ever entertain the fact that, it's a possibility that Davina could have said something. And, he wanted to flip it and say that it was Scrap because Scrap wasn't there and he came around with some new Jordans. Okay, think whatever it is that you want. It is what it is. Famous roll up on Jukebox and basically, was still trying to coast out of her. Who was it that hit her first or whatever? And, she not trying to say that. He talking about he finna go to the studio. He a real artist. And, of course, Juke got something to say about that. But he does invite her to the studio, and she was like, okay, cool. Meanwhile, Raquel is in the projects looking at one of those apartments and was like, yeah, this is what we need. Marvin was like, I don't understand what we need this for, because you and Kanan finna move up into this. And she was like, hell no. And this is basically a new stash house. They finna move it from, instead of having it up in the grocery store with the bodega with the Colombians or whatever, they gonna have it in this project so that they can look down. Unique got the corners or whatever, so we looking down on stuff. If the cops come or whatever, we'll have time to throw the which I thought was an ingenious idea, because he was like, why we need both apartments? Because she want the apartment right here and she want the apartment right directly below it. Okay. And Darius, the project, the manager of the project, was like, the tenant downstairs, they still got 8 months left on their lease or whatever. So, he can't do that. And she was like, yeah, this is what is going to happen. But what she's going to do with the apartments are basically connect them, make a chute. So if the police come in somehow and raid one apartment that's up at top, they can go ahead and get the product and throw it down into the chute, into the next apartment down below, and so they can run up out of there with it. I said that was ingenious. Okay, I ain't even gonna lie, I ain't never thinking nothing like that. And then the tenant came in who actually is in that apartment that they're looking at, and he was like, why y'all here? I'm not going nowhere. Get the hell out. Girl, at this point, Marvin looked at Raquel. Raquel was like, next thing you know, Marvin started beating his ass. I said, see, that ain't right. That ain't right. Raquel had to give him a little talking to, like, who the fuck I am and all that stuff. So basically, old boy had to leave. And, Raquel told Marvin to help him out. And I'm just like, girl, this what y'all do? Okay, listen. Let me tell you something. Being in the drug game, being in that street life is just so stressful, it seems like, okay? Meanwhile, After all of that, you got Kanan. He went upstairs in his room because he was looking for the gun or whatever, and it was a little bit further underneath his bed, but he couldn't get it because Raquel came up in there trying to talk to him. You know, Raquel whole thing is she don't want her son in the street. She don't want her son in the stash house, in the game, period. Because she don't feel like, that's she don't think he's ready, but she knows he's ready. She keep denying it, okay? And she's trying to stop the course that he's going. And at this point, that train has already left the station. He's already there, okay? And it is what it is. You telling him that you spoke to the uncle, and that's not gonna change him. And like he said, you want me to stay here, then you put me out, then you put me in, then you take me out, and it's like, what do you want? And then she said, she said, what do you want? Okay, what is exactly do you want? It was like, well, teach me how to cook. Okay, Raquel said, cook what? He said, you already taught me how to cook spaghetti and meatballs. I'm talking about how to cook drugs, okay? She was like, you are my son, huh? You are my son, very determined. You get what you want. You determined to get what you want, okay? And I was just like, Raquel, you can't stop this, so you might as well do it. Of course she ain't gonna do it. She ain't gonna do it. All right, not now. Her thing is she trying to pace it. She feel like her son just, first of all, I don't feel like she truly wanted him in the game anyway. But if you didn't want him in the game, you probably should have hid what you did. And I understand trying to not have secrecy and everything like that so you won't be caught off guard. But at the same time, if you're doing this stuff around him and he knows everything about it, don't you think that might rub off on him and may want him to do it? He might want to do it too. Okay, that's all that he sees around him is the drug game, all right? So he don't see nobody else coming around that's, telling him and giving him good examples of being a legal adult, doing legal things and stuff like that. And so, drop him off at the little place or whatever. He go over there trying to find Scrap, try to confront him. They get to fighting. Malcolm is sitting over there looking and with his partner, and they was like, we got to go through the Prince to get to the Queen pen, okay? And, they give a whole rundown about how his daddy was basically the done daughter of the kingpins out there, and he should be up there with Frank White, is it Frank White? And, girl, Frank Lucas and Frank White. Is that what their name was? Girl, I used to watch all them documentaries on all of them, and I can't believe I can't get their names right now. But anyway, plus he friends with D-Wiz, and so they just looking, and they, got their opportunity, broke up the fight, and, I said, y'all finna arrest them? Oh, shit, what's going on? So, in the police station, Malcolm is up there trying to talk to Kanan or whatever, ask what his name is, give him a paper towel or whatever because, he got a bloody nose from the fight. And so he was like, what I'm supposed to do with that? Because he tried to hand it back to him, so he just sat it on the desk. And so at this point, he was like, until my legal guardian gets here, I'm not offering up nothing, okay? So he was like, Malcolm was like, okay, Kanan Stark, start putting his name in. What's your date of birth? And, of course, he not trying to get up into it, because his mama not there. And he was like, oh, I know your mama. Me and your mama grew up together, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I know all your peoples and all that stuff. Now, you just need to work with me or whatever. If, he put it in a situation in a sense where it's better for him to work with him and just go ahead and give him his date of birth than to go through all this rigmarole of having your mama come up there and, the stuff that's going to happen or whatever. And so at this point, Kanan just went on ahead and gave him his birthday, August something, 1975. Okay. And so at this point, Malcolm was like, wait a minute. I thought you was older than that. And he was like, why you think that, nigga, And so at this point, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Because Symphony comes in. That's who Kanan winds up calling, not his mama, okay? Symphony comes in and, of course, Malcolm, thinking that he could talk to him any type of way because Symphony knows the law to a certain extent. Like, you're not supposed to be talking to a minor without a representation. You out here gathering up black boys, brother of mine, and don't call me a nigga. I was like, ooh, that had Malcolm sitting there like, oh, okay, you're one of those. Meanwhile, when they left, something told him to just look up Kanan's daddy name, Rondell Stark. And I was like, what is this? What is this? Girl, that I said, slow it down. I can't see this old Macintosh shit. Bitch, they slowed that shit down and they paused it. And I paused it. It stopped for a second. I had to pause the screen for a minute so I can read it. It said, Rondell Stark, when he was incarcerated in 1974. Okay. And, basically, they kind of making it seem as though Kanan ain't his son, okay? Because of the dates that it was with, if he was born in August and if the daddy got put in, at the beginning of 1974, how was he born at the end of, in the middle, towards the middle end of, 1975? She got pregnant after he got in jail. Okay. And that's all that is coming out to. And it's like, who is his real daddy at this point? I said, oh my God. Did they had conjugal visits? I said, Raquel, you out here living foul, girl. What's going on? We need some answers. And I do like the fact that, Symphony was there for him. And, they had a little bonding moment. And, he said, why didn't you call your uncles? Because, they wasn't answering the phone, and that really wasn't it, because Symphony had gave him his number and said, we can kick it if you want to or whatever. And so, Kanan took that moment to just bond with him. That was a moment showing that Kanan was letting him in because he trusted him enough to get him out of this sticky situation. And he told him, don't tell my mama, okay? He said, listen, I'm not going to tell your mama, but if it comes up, I'm going to say something, okay? I'm going to have to tell her the truth. And, he also told him about the fact that he was a foster care kid and, he didn't have a close bond with his mom. He didn't know his mom like that. So, to appreciate that bond that he got with his mom. And like he said, I'm going to hold your secret. I'm not going to blurt it out. But if she asks me what happened, I'm going to tell her. And he was cool with it. He was cool with it. Meanwhile, you got Lou in the studio with Famous and everybody else and Lil Jukebox there and Jessica. I didn't like when the engineer Milo was trying to call Crown out about not paying people, and he hadn't been paid in 3 months or whatever. Well, not 3 months, but 3 weeks. And, Lou tried to interject and give some money to, Milo. And then all the other singers or whatever that was supposed to come in there to be on the track, they just said no because, they weren't getting paid from him. And, Jessica gonna interject and was like, just let him do his thing, Lou, let's just let him do his thing. I said, Jessica, you gotta go, okay? You really just getting on my nerves at this point. And so he was like, he paid for everybody else as well, okay, made Crown look stupid, and told Jukebox to get up in the booth. He was like, you know what, they call her Jukebox because everybody been trying to get her to sing and wanting to hear her sing, pay a quarter to hear her sing ever since she was 5 years old, okay? So Juke, get up in that booth. He was like, we need a professional vocalist. And he was like, listen, you got it right here. Juke got up in that booth, and she did her thing. Everybody was shocked and good bad. I was like, all right, Juke, that's how you stand up. Stand up and stand out. That's what the talent at. So, Scrap was walking down the street and Rock pulled up on him and told him to get up in the car. He was like, yo, Kanan came at me. I had to do what I had to do or whatever. And she was like, get in the car. Okay. Mind you, he was looking at Kanan funny when they got to the, when he was released out from the police station. And it was this dude that was standing outside the store that was looking at the whole altercation go down between Kanan and Scrap and was looking at Scrap. Meanwhile, Scrap, oh boy, had brought Scrap up in there. I'm like, what was said between, Rock and him that led him to go over there to Unique, okay, and basically was about to switch sides. It's fuck Rock because he feel like, just because Kanan is her son, she gonna put him ahead of her, of him. I've been in the game and showing loyalty to these motherfuckers for 5 years, and you gonna let this little boy jump my spot just because he your son, okay? And I was just like, I feel some type of way. I communicate that, but this the drug game. I ain't in street life. I ain't got time to be doing that. switching sides and stuff, that's some unloyal stuff. Now I wouldn't even want to take somebody on who switched sides right in the middle, not switching side after they main person passed away or whatever. No, you switching side like just because you had a little altercation. That don't show loyalty to me. That just show you go whatever best fits for you for that time being, and you will screw anybody over just to get whatever it is that you want. Meanwhile, love jukebox. Girl, jukebox and Nicole, I told y'all this was gonna happen. I just knew it was gonna happen. Okay, at this point, they going through their little motions and kikiing and talking about spaghettis or whatever. They started kissing up in their room and all that stuff. And the mama came in, saw Juke on top of old girl, and she was like, "Oh my God, get over her, Tim! Come here, come here!" And he was like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" The daddy was so lost, okay? The daddy is trying to figure out why is the mama is in hysterics, okay? And I let you in my home and you're gonna do this? Leave! And I'm just sitting here like, girl, it wasn't all that, okay? It was not all that. At least you know your baby can't get pregnant or whatever. So, I mean, what is the... When I look at certain stuff, I be like, what is the problem? They just kiss, okay, girl. But, she was upset about it. Jukebox was in her feelings, and I felt so bad for her because that lady said, "Don't you ever see my daughter again." She said, "If I do see you with my daughter," she pulled one of these. "If I do see you with my daughter, I'm going to call the cops on you and claim that you raped her." I said, what the fuck? Mind you, the daughter is sitting there crying and telling her, "Mama, it's me. I'm the one that did it. Okay, stop. Girl, she don't give a fuck. Okay, jukebox, that was the... Girl, let me tell you something. The actress that was playing Juke at that moment when she was outside and she was trying to choke back them tears and trying to get it together, that the way her body went through that convulsions, like she was going through heartbreak and all the emotions right then and there, and you saw it. I said, baby, give her an award just for that. Give her an award just for that. Because when I tell you that was some acting, that was some real life fucking acting, all right? So, she walking, girl. Am I the only one who thought that she was gonna hit one of them little white folks when they came out out their door? The way she looked at them and then kept on walking, I was just like, you finna hit them? Don't take your anger out on them because they ain't do nothing. It was old girl appearance, okay? But other than that, we get to Rock going ahead and teaching Kanan how to cook the stuff. She was like, first thing first is, you don't do it in your own place, okay? But since we only got a little portion, I'm going to show you what it is, okay? And so that's what wound up happening. Next thing you know, Malcolm comes over. And Malcolm was like, so I had to hit up Kanan early, okay? And Rondell, he went to jail in October 1974, and he never came out. Okay, he never came out. And he didn't have no conjugal visits, so I looked that up. I thought Kanan was 16 years old. He 15, okay? And so I was like, uh-oh, what's going to happen? And at this moment, I was like, please don't tell me that's his son. Please don't tell me that's his son. He was like, every time I used to see you back then with the baby and I asked you how old is he, you never would say. You never would say. It was like, you and I both know the truth. Kanan is my son. I said, oh, shit. Okay. I wasn't expecting that, but I welcome it. I'm going to be 100% honest. Raising Kanan is good, but it's not as good as the other power shows, okay? I even take Ghost over this, you know what I'm saying? Truth be told, I don't feel like we needed it, but I'm going to still go along with it for the ride, and since I already started the season. But it's cute. It's not giving me as much action as I want and much suspense as I want, but it's giving me enough to talk about. But you guys tell me how you felt about this episode, and I will see you guys later. Peace.